You have been praying for wealth for years, haven't you? You wake up every morning, fold your hands, and ask the universe, God, or whatever power you believe in to bring you money. You visualize the checks. You imagine the lifestyle. You recite the affirmations. But when you open your eyes and check your bank account, the numbers mock you. The bills pile higher. The opportunities vanish before you reach them. And deep down, you start to wonder if you are doing something fundamentally wrong. You are. Napoleon Hill claimed to have spent 25 years interviewing over 500 of the wealthiest and most successful people in America: Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison. According to Hill's account, these were not men of luck. They were men of psychological mastery. And Hill discovered something that most churches, most spiritual teachers, and most motivational gurus will never tell you. 99% of people pray with a mindset of lack, and that mindset is the very force pushing wealth away from them. This is not about religion, this is about psychology. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why your prayers have failed, what Napoleon Hill called the definiteness of purpose formula, and how you can rewire your relationship with your subconscious mind so that wealth flows to you naturally, inevitably, and without resistance. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will change everything. Here is the trap. Most people pray like someone who does not have what they want. They approach prayer with desperation, with neediness, with a consciousness that screams, "I do not have this. I am broke. I am struggling. Please fix me." And they believe that somehow the intensity of their plea will move the heavens. It will not. Because the human subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to the emotional state you embody when you speak those words. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich that faith is the head chemist of the mind. When faith is blended with thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the instruction, translates it into its mental equivalent, and begins to attract circumstances that match that instruction. But here is the problem. If your prayer is soaked in fear, doubt, or desperation, then that is the signal you are programming into your subconscious. You are not asking for wealth. You are affirming poverty. You are telling your own mind, "I am separate from abundance. I am outside of it. I need it because I do not have it." And your subconscious mind, being a perfect servant, reflects that exact state back to you through what psychologists call the Reticular Activating System. Think about it. When you beg for money, what emotion are you feeling? Anxiety, lack, panic. That is not the mental state of a wealthy person. A wealthy person does not beg. A wealthy person does not hope. A wealthy person assumes. They live in the mental state of already having. And that assumption, that inner knowing, is what Napoleon Hill called the secret of all achievement. The error is not in the act of praying. It is in praying from the wrong mental state. You cannot attract wealth while simultaneously programming your mind with its absence. You cannot manifest prosperity while dwelling in scarcity. The two mental states cancel each other out. This is why your prayers have not worked. Not because you lack faith, but because your faith has been directed at the wrong target. You have been faithfully affirming what you do not want. Napoleon Hill did not stumble upon this truth by accident. According to his account, in 1908, a young Hill sat across from Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in the world. Carnegie had built an empire. He had turned raw steel into billions. And when Hill asked him the secret, Carnegie did not talk about hard work. He did not talk about luck. He talked about definiteness of purpose. In Hill's retelling, Carnegie said this, "I do not ask for answers repeatedly. I align my mind with a clear intention. I state my goal once with absolute clarity, with complete certainty that the resources will appear, and then I move forward as though the answer is already on its way." Carnegie reportedly challenged Hill to spend the next 20 years documenting this principle by interviewing successful individuals across America. Whether every detail of Hill's account is historically verifiable has been debated by biographers. What is not debatable is the psychological principle Hill extracted from his research, the idea that the human mind contains untapped potential, and that when you state a desire with absolute clarity and emotional certainty, your subconscious mind begins to filter reality in ways that bring that desire into manifestation. Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But notice the word believe, not hope, not wish, not want, believe. Belief is a state of knowing. It is the feeling of already having. And that is the mental frequency that opens the gates of abundance. Hill documented this approach across hundreds of interviews. He observed that wealthy individuals did not pray for wealth, they assumed it. They moved through their day with the inner certainty that every resource they needed was already available to them. And because they held that mental assumption, opportunities appeared, people appeared, ideas appeared. The external world bent toward their expectation because their expectation was unwavering. This is the insight Napoleon Hill spent 2 decades documenting. Not positive thinking, not affirmations alone, but mental possession. The art of claiming something in your mind so completely that your brain begins to notice pathways toward it that were invisible before. Now we go deeper. Napoleon Hill taught that autosuggestion is the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. It is the bridge between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming. And here is where most people fail. They say affirmations, but their subconscious does not believe them. They repeat, "I am wealthy," but underneath they feel broke. And the subconscious always wins, because the subconscious is the operating system. It is the part of you that controls your habits, your emotions, your automatic responses, and it only accepts instructions that are delivered with feeling. Modern neuroscience has given us a name for the mechanism Hill was describing, the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. The RAS is a neural network in your brainstem that acts as a filter, sifting through millions of sensory inputs every second. It decides what information reaches your conscious awareness based on what you have programmed it to notice. If you program it to look for scarcity, it will show you scarcity. If you program it to look for opportunity, it will show you opportunity. This is why begging does not work. When you beg, you are programming your RAS with the emotion of lack. You are telling it, "I do not have money. I need money. I am desperate for money." And your RAS, being perfectly obedient, filters your perception to confirm that programming. It highlights bills, it highlights rejections, it highlights obstacles, not because the universe is against you, but because your brain is designed to confirm what you already believe. But when you shift your prayer from begging to claiming, everything changes. Hill called this transmutation, the act of transforming desire into its physical equivalent through disciplined thought. And the formula is precise. First, you fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire, not a vague wish, not "someday I want to be rich," a specific number. Second, you determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money, because success operates on the law of exchange. Third, you establish a definite date by which you intend to possess the money. Fourth, you create a definite plan, and you begin at once to put that plan into action. Fifth, you write out a clear statement of all 4 steps. And sixth, you read that statement aloud twice daily, once before sleep and once upon waking, and as you read it, you see and feel yourself already in possession of the money. This is not fantasy. This is neural programming. You are feeding your RAS a new instruction. You are replacing the filter of lack with the filter of abundance. And over time, your RAS begins to accept it. It begins to highlight opportunities you would have missed. It begins to attract people, ideas, and circumstances that align with your new assumption. Hill wrote, "There is no such thing as something for nothing. You must give before you receive, but the giving starts in your mind. You must give your subconscious the gift of certainty. You must stop asking and start claiming, because prayer is not about convincing a higher power. It is about reprogramming your own perceptual filters. Let me show you where psychology meets scripture. In the Gospel of Mark, chapter 11, verse 24, Jesus said, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Read that again. Believe that you have received it, not believe that you will receive it someday, not hope that it might arrive. Believe that you have already received it. This is the exact principle Hill documented. Jesus was teaching the psychology of assumption. When you pray, you must pray from the mental state of already having what you desire. You must feel the relief. You must feel the certainty. You must embody the emotional frequency of possession, because that emotional state is what programs your subconscious mind. That emotional state is what directs your RAS to filter reality through the lens of abundance rather than lack. Earl Nightingale, one of Napoleon Hill's most famous students, distilled this entire philosophy into one sentence. You become what you think about, not what you want, not what you hope for, what you think about. Because your dominant thoughts shape your emotions shape your actions, and your actions shape your reality. If you spend your day thinking about bills, debt, and scarcity, then your RAS will guide you toward more bills, more debt, more scarcity. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because your mind is programmed to seek evidence that confirms your beliefs. Psychologists call this confirmation bias. Hill called it the law of attraction, and it is absolute. Now think about how you have been praying. Have you been thinking about wealth, or have you been thinking about the absence of wealth? Have you been feeling abundant, or have you been feeling desperate? Because your prayer is not the words you say. Your prayer is the dominant emotion you carry throughout your day. Henry Ford, one of the industrialists Hill studied, once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right." This is not motivational fluff. This is neural science. Your assumption creates your perceptual reality. If you assume you are broke, you will find 1,000 ways to stay broke. If you assume you are wealthy, you will find 1,000 ways to become wealthy. Your brain does not care which path you choose. It simply amplifies the one you focus on. Thomas Edison, another of Hill's documented subjects, failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But he never saw himself as a failure. He saw himself as a man eliminating what did not work. His assumption was success. His dominant thought was certainty. And eventually, reality conformed to that inner knowing. This is the bridge. You do not need to be a genius. You do not need to be lucky. You need to control your dominant thoughts. You need to stop praying like someone in lack and start praying like someone who already has what they desire. Because the moment you shift your inner state, your RAS begins to shift what you notice in the outer world. So here is your new approach. Napoleon Hill gave you 6 steps to reprogram your subconscious mind and activate your RAS for wealth. Step 1. Define your desire with absolute precision. Not, "I want more money," but "I now possess $50,000. Specificity activates the subconscious. Step 2. Declare what you will give in return. "I will dedicate 3 hours daily to building my business. I will serve my clients with excellence. Exchange is the law." Step 3. Set a definite deadline by December 31st, 2026. Deadlines create urgency in the subconscious mind. Step 4. Create your plan and act immediately. Even one small step tells your RAS you are serious. Step 5. Write it all down in one clear statement. This is your new mental program, your new script for your subconscious. Step 6. Read it aloud twice daily with feeling. Feel the money in your hands, feel the relief, feel the certainty. Emotion is the programming language of the subconscious. This is not begging. This is alignment. This is how you transmute desire into reality through disciplined thought. Let me give you the resolution. You are not separate from abundance. You are equipped with a brain that filters reality based on what you program it to notice. When you pray from lack, you program your RS to highlight scarcity. When you pray from possession, you program it to highlight opportunity. The money you desire already exists in the economy. The opportunities already exist in your environment. Your job is not to create them from nothing. Your job is to become the mental match that allows your brain to notice them. Napoleon Hill spent his life documenting this. Andrew Carnegie reportedly demonstrated it. Henry Ford embodied it. Earl Nightingale taught it. And now you know it. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something shift inside as you listened, then you are ready to apply Hill's 6-step formula to your own life. Subscribe to this channel to access our breakdown of definiteness of purpose and how to build your personal success plan using the principles Hill documented. Because this is not theory, this is applied psychology. And remember what Napoleon Hill said, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. But when your desire is backed by faith, by certainty, by the unwavering assumption that it is already yours, your subconscious mind and your RAS have no choice but to guide you toward it. Stop praying from lack. Start programming from possession, and watch your perception of the world transform.